Yes, yes, yes. The morning roast. Alan Stiles and Larry Krueger in for Bonte and Shasky, in for the guys as they take, I would say, a well-deserved longer weekend. So good for them. They'll be back on Monday. Shout out YouTube and Twitch streamers, Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube and Twitch. Brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. Looking for the best Giants talk in the Bay Area? Then check out the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Joe Shasky and Sam Lubman bring you all you need to know about this Giants season every week. New episodes are now available wherever you listen to podcasts. And you are going to want to listen to this if you're not listening to it live, and hopefully you are. We have the man himself, Niners legend, NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, Joe Montana. Joe, thank you so much for joining the Morning Roast this morning.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. How's everything going?
Good. How's everything going for you? Tell us about your partnership with Gold Bar Whiskey and what you got going with them.
Yeah, it's been a fun collaboration. It's been one of those things that you think about all the time, and then you have an opportunity to do something special. And got over here with these guys and been working on a couple whiskeys. And that are going to be released. The first ones are coming out in September 15th, along with the opening here of the distillery. So we urge people to come over here and take a look at this place. It's pretty special. And I think what we've been doing with the whiskey is also going to be pretty special. We have a special collection coming out, and then a championship box that'll be coming out a little bit later. But the first release is coming up on the 15th.
So, Joe, have you always been a whiskey guy, or is this a new thing?
No, I've kind of been down that alley for a long time, but never thought I'd have an opportunity to do something like this. And I think it's great. It's local. It's here in the Bay Area, out here on Treasure Island, and also associated with the 49ers. And I think we got some pretty good products coming out here that I think people are going to love. Along with, you can't even. The packaging itself is kind of crazy. You get this special patch that comes along with it that you can tap your phone onto, and it'll show a little video of me making my cocktail. And it's something new, something pretty fun to see, and hope they enjoy it.
You know, Joe, Niner fans are thrilled to hear from you, and one of the it almost feels like old times now because, in your heyday and in a lot of the 80s and even into the 90s, people used to critique the 49er wins. And you're going good when the fans are in that mode to critique wins. But it's almost like a joyless thing. It's like the 49ers have been to 3 of the last 4 NFC Championship games, Joe, and yet there's like this kind of almost negative vibe that permeates the 49ers from time to time. Is that born out of passionate fandom?
I think the bar has been set pretty high in the past, and I think they have high expectations, as does the team. Once you've been there, everyone expects you to go back every year. It's a little bit more difficult, as everyone knows, than it seems. But, hey, they got a pretty good team again this year, and they got Super Bowl quality opportunity coming up, and I'm really looking forward to the season and seeing how it goes for them. And hopefully, our quarterback is healthy and stays healthy throughout the year. And hey, it's going to be a fun year.
Talking to Joe Montana here, Niners legend, Niners 4-time Super Bowl champ, NFL Hall of Famer, as we get ready for this football season. So, Joe, this is probably the last week we can even talk about it, but when you heard the Trey Lance news, what were your first initial thoughts?
Well, I honestly, and I've said this before, is that I think it was a tough fit for him in that system. And with Mike down there in Dallas, I think he's going to run into a system that might fit him a little bit better. I kind of saw it coming when you saw him getting a lot of playing time in the last 2 games there, or a lot or more playing time. I think they were trying to give him an opportunity to stay in San Francisco, but in the end, I think that they just needed someone that was a better fit in case Purdy doesn't make it through the season.
Joe, why do you think that Trey wasn't a good fit for this system, and why do you think Brock is?
Well, I think one of the reasons is he came from a place where, he spent a lot of time running the ball. And that's not the type of system that he's in. Yes, can Purdy run? Yeah, if you have to. But the game was played from the pocket for the most part in that system. And it's hard to learn and understand that game when you run pretty much, I won't say a full read option when he was in college, but he spent a lot of time moving, out of the pocket, getting the movement. And that's not the 49ers style right now. And hey, he's a great athlete, and I'm sure he's going to find a place that fits for him because I think he has the ability to do it. I just think he was in a bad spot. I mean, if you look at Darnold, I think he got in a bad spot in the first place he went. And if I remember, he was a first-round pick too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Third pick overall.
So it's finding that spot. I got lucky, when I first got there, that I got with Bill Walsh, and I think you saw it again when Steve Young left and they traded for him and he came to San Francisco. It was a fit for him. Can he run? Yeah, he can run as good as anybody, but he also can play from the pocket, and it was a fit for Steve. So I think it's just finding that spot that you can plug yourself into that you're comfortable as.
Talking to Joe Montana, NFL Hall of Famer, 4-time Super Bowl champ, and Niners legend. Joe, Jimmy Garoppolo recently used the word weird to describe the QB situation for the Niners the last couple years. Kyle said unusual, then ultimately agreed with unique. Off the top of your head, is there a word that you would use to describe the current QB situation these last couple years for the Niners?
Well, I think it was pretty typical in the way things are these days. There injuries happen in this game, and you have to be ready to play. And I thought for the longest time that they were going to find a way to keep Jimmy here because the one thing that he could do for them is win games and come off the bench if he had to. I think just the salary cap issues were a big problem, and from my understanding, I don't spend a lot of time down there, but I'm sure there were some other things going on internally that happened to kind of sour the Niners to Jimmy. But hey, they're all weird. I mean, you can go back to when I was playing; it was a strange situation there for a while too, right. Back and forth with Steve and I. So it happens in every organization and every era. So hey, it is what it is, and you just move on and you make the best of where you are. And I'm sure Jimmy will win some games for them down there in Vegas. So I wish him the best.
Joe, let's talk a little bit about Brock. A lot of things that he does well. I mean, he processes well. He throws with timing. He throws with accuracy. A lot of the same things that you did. Do you, people have compared him, and obviously that could be a burden because of how great of a player you were. But do you see any similarities in the two in your game compared to his? And what do you think of Purdy so far?
Well, I never really try to compare, one quarterback to another because the styles are all different.
Sure.
But the one thing you can look at are the things that you said that, he processes quickly, ball comes out of his hand quickly, he makes good decisions, and he throws accurately. And you can't ask more of a quarterback. And as you can see, that system fits him and his style because he plugged in pretty quickly there. I mean, to come in from where he was and be thrown into that game, hey, my hat's off to him. I look forward to seeing him play. He's exciting, and he's got a pretty good team with him, and that always helps out a quarterback anytime when you got some weapons like they do.
Talking to Joe Montana, 4-time Super Bowl champ, NFL Hall of Famer, and Niners legend. So piggybacking off of Brock Purdy and the success that we hope he has, Joe, what do you think success looks like for the Niners this season?
Well, I think you said it earlier in the call is that I think everybody expects to see him back in the championship game, and hopefully they get it to the Super Bowl and they can pull off another victory there. But they definitely have the caliber team to make that run. But it's easy to say now before the season starts, but a lot of things, take place. Injuries start happening, and some guys are having a better year. Some guys are having not as good a year as they had the year before. So all those things come into play, and you got to just kind of hope that you get all the pieces in the right places at the right time, towards the end of the year. And I mean, they're going to win games no matter what. They're too talented not to.
I thought Walsh was a genius, and I thought the way he brought you along slowly coming out of Notre Dame was really smart. He had DeBerg there. He worked you in. But I wanted to ask you, Joe, between year one and year two, because it seems like we see football players make a huge jump from that rookie year to the second year, which is where Brock is right now. Why is it that we see, quarterbacks especially make that jump in year two? What's it like that second time around that you don't have as a rookie?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you get comfortable in a system. In that first year, you're just trying to figure out, what you just had learned in college, and now trying to make a transition into a new offense and learn it. It's a little different learning as a quarterback, all the things that you need to know, as opposed to somebody who comes in like a wide receiver or a running back or any other position, really, where you only have to worry about one thing. And the quarterback, as you know, you have to know where everybody's doing, what it's doing. You need to make changes. You need to be able to audible. And so it's a tough thing to do in the first year. And my hat was off to him for that, even because like I said, he plugged in pretty quick.
Joe Montana, thank you so much for the time. Before we get you out of here, you got two blends with your partnership with Gold Bar Whiskey, the blend 273 and the blend 117. What should the Niners fans try first?
Well, 273 is coming out first, and then 117 will be coming out later around Thanksgiving. And so go for the 273. I think you're going to like both. You'll see a difference when you get a chance to try the 117 as it comes out. It's aged a little bit differently in different barrels. So hopefully they like it and enjoy it as much as I have, and hopefully we see a great 49er season.
Thanks so much for the time, Joe. That is Joe Montana. You know who he is, four-time Super Bowl champ, Niners legend, and NFL Hall of Famer. And be sure to visit the Gold Bar Whiskey Visitor Center on Treasure Island, which officially opens up September 15th. What do you